Welcome, everybody. This is the second meeting for Taitareeya Upanishad. The first room was really valuable. I thought it's good to listen back just on its own in terms of understanding our approach to the Upanishads and the study and the spiritual journey that we're on. So thank you for that, Bindaji. I hadn't known you were going to do that. Just to mention a few things, for those who are new, is that we usually meet in this house at 8:30 p.m. IST on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, with Sunday being a more general Advaita Q&A. We'll be turning off the hand raising and the chat during the class, but then at the end today, we'll turn it on so that anyone, please do come up and share with us what's on your mind for the class, to talk with Bindaji about that and ask questions. And also we have several Upanishads plus, the Manisha Panchakam, and Nasadiya Sukta in this house on replays. And if you look on Bindaji's profile, I did want to say a little about this, Bindaji. If you look on Bindaji's profile, you'll see that he has a YouTube channel called Advaitic Talks. And there are a number of classes there also that are not on Clubhouse or in this house, like Mandukya, which at one point is on Clubhouse, but not here. But also, recently I've been, listening to some other things, such as the, long series on Aparoksha Nubhuti. And I found it really valuable. And I did want to mention, just to people who have been really tracking Bindaji, I listened to episode 17 of that yesterday for myself. And there's just so much there that relates to the discussions we had in May on Mithya. The word isn't used as such, but on this whole idea of what are we really talking about to be in touch with the reality as opposed to something that's not the reality. I guess I'll put it that way. So I think some people might really enjoy that. I wanted to just mention how much value there is there. Let's see, what else do we need to cover? Thank you, Prakash, for also being a moderator in this house. Welcome, everybody. And in the Dropbox above, there is for this Upanishad, a rather long PDF. I think it's 37 pages, and it has the Sanskrit, the transliteration, and then an English translation for the entire Upanishad. And, it isn't, often when Bindaji puts these together, it isn't just one particular author's English translation. And so usually I find it's one I haven't quite seen like this before. And so that's there for you to follow through and study. Thank you, Bindaji.
Thank you, Artemisia. Thank you, Prakash. Thank you and welcome to all of you. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamshirshibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Parambaram Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Santi Mantram Om Shanno Mitrasya Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Brihaspatihi Shanno Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ridam Vadishyami Satyam vadishyami tanmamavatu tadvaktaramavatu avatu mam avatu vaktaram Om Shanti 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. So To recap a brief of what we did in the last session, Vastu Siddhi or success in knowing anything depends upon two things, Pramana and Lakshana. Lakshana Pramanabhyam Vastu Siddhi is the standard statement. So we saw that the Lakshana has got two categories. One is called the Tadastha Lakshana, the other one is Swarupa Lakshana. Whereas the Tadastha Lakshana is indicating not the object per se, but it will help us to know the object indirectly. For example, if we say that his house is opposite to the post office, so we know the post office, which is a famous place, and the house opposite to post office is somebody's house. But it is not the house which is being given the importance, but the post office has got importance. Therefore, through the post office, opposite to the post office, you get to the house. The other one is saying the street name and the number of the house, saying the property number 297 on this such and such a street, is directly giving the location of the house. So it doesn't give the opposite to post office or anything like that. So the street name and the post is called something called the Swarupa Lakshana. Something similar to that. As far as Pramana is concerned, we have Karanam Pramanam. The instrument through which a knowledge is generated is called Pramana. So in the case of Vedas and Upanishad, the Pramana which are accepted are Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi, and Shabda. So of that, only Pratyaksha and Shabda are the one which are considered possible for knowing the Atman or Brahman. Now, Pratyaksha normally is by perception through the sense organs and the mind. But there is something called Aparoksha. Pratyaksha means direct perception. Paroksha means which is not perceivable directly. So, what is opposite of not perceivable directly? It should be perceivable directly. But the word Pratyaksha is not being used. There, Aparoksha is being used. Aparoksha. Paroksha means not Pratyaksha. So, what is not Paroksha is typically Pratyaksha, but it is neither Pratyaksha and not Paroksha, but it is Aparoksha. It is perceived, it can be perceived directly, but not through the sense organs and the mind. But it is a perception or it is a knowing. That is what is called the knowledge of Atma or Brahman. So here Pratyaksha is not the normal sense which we use. It is by the experience of being the self. But that is not possible for all of us to reach to that level of perceiving ourselves, because Paranchikani Vidaranat Swayambhu Tasmat Parang Pasyadina Andaratman Kastiddhira Pratyakatmanamachyat Avrita Chakshu Amrutatvam, which we studied in the Kathopanishad. All the sense organs are placed in our body by the Creator, looking outwardly from the body. Pranchikani. So we cannot see what is inside the body or what is being in the body by the sense organs. So Pratyaksha will not work there. Kaschid dhiraha pratyakatmanam aikshat. That intelligent one, dhiraha, dhimantaha, one intelligent person or some intelligent person, pratyakatmanam aikshat. This pratyak atmanam, pratyak means innermost or immediate. Atmanam is one's own self. Aikshat means saw. He saw it not with the sense organ which is turned outwardly, but avrta chakshu, by directing the perception from the external to internal. So avrta means reversed or, turned around. Chakshu means eyes. So here chakshu is only representing the sense organs. So turning all the sense organs inward. The sense organs have no capacity to turn inwards. So when they turn inward means what did the Rishi mean by Avrita Chakshu, turning the vision inward means? This is where the Kenopanishad mantra comes in handy. Yak chakshusha na pasyati yena chakshumsi pasyati. It is not with which the eyes are able to perceive things externally, but with which the eyes become potent enough to become perception instrument. Same way, yet shrotra na shrunote, yet shrotram idam shrutam, yet manasa na manute, yenahur manomatam. So all these Kenopanishad mantras are indicating to where to look for that, how to look for internally, or the look turning around from external to internal. So kaschid dhiraha pratyakatmanam aishchate avrta chakshu au amrtatvam ichan, by a desire to become immortal. So to desire to become immortal is the reason why we are all looking for this Atman. Now, mumukshutvam or the moksha icha. Why should we all have the icha to know ourselves? Now, in the preamble to this Upanishad, Taitareeya Upanishad, there is a detailed discussion by Acharya Shankara regarding the efficacy of Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Since it is highly technical and with lot of technological or what you call paribhashika shabdas, or the words which are typically used in the Vedas and the Shastras are used in discussion of that. I am not reading that discussion in reading it purposefully, and because then I have to explain each of the terminology and explain it, which is of no use in today's sense, because nobody is doing those Vedic activities and nobody can even understand what does it mean by. So, Amrutattvam Ichan is the word which is caught my attention, which I thought will use, because that is the one which is the importance with which Shankaracharya also did the explanation of the preamble of Taitareeya Upanishad. So the discussion was between the Mimamsakas and Shankaracharya. were Mimamsakas or the Purva Mimamsa, the earlier part, Karmakanda, those who are in the ritualistic adherence, they were arguing that, by doing what is ordained in the Vedas, Vidhi, you acquire punya or the fruits of good deeds, and then you will become immortal in the Swargaloka, in the Loka of Brihaspati or Prajapati. So Shankaracharya says that activity per se has a beginning, therefore it has got an end. So too is the results of any action. No action can give eternal result or a result which is eternal in nature. Because what starts in time and ends in time, the result also will start in time and end in time. That goes without saying. So the Mimamsa says that, no, but then if we don't do any nishiddha karma or the karma or the activities which are forbidden by the Vedas, then also we get punya, and with that also we will be getting Swargaloka. So Shankaracharya argues again saying that not doing a forbidden activity is an absence of action by itself. And absence of action can never give rise to any positive result. So, abhava, karma abhava, or the absence of karma, by not doing the forbidden activities of Vedas, you are not going to get punya, because punya is a positive thing, or the results of a good deed is a positive thing. That cannot be obtained by not doing the forbidden things. So that is a false belief you have in the Shastra, but it will not give you punya. Punya is only obtained, or the good and result is obtained only by doing the ordained activity. So then the long, lengthy argument between them going on, where Shankaracharya insists saying that it is only knowledge which can result in the freedom or emancipation. The reason is that the feeling that we are all bound or restricted or contained or limited is due to an ignorance of identification with the limitation of the body, mind and intellect. When we know that we are not the body, mind and intellect, we will love to know who we are. That desire to know who we are is what is called moksha ichcha or mumukshutva. The desire to have realization or emancipation. Now, then the Mimamsaka asks, how does that knowing something can result in eternity? It's a valid question which the Mimamsa is asking. Knowing something, by knowing this is a cow or this is fire, I don't become the fire or I don't become the cow. I know it only by the object with which it is called, the name and form. So here Acharya Shankara says that here the knowing is not an object external to you, but your own nature. And your own nature is something we have been experiencing which has never undergone any change. From the time we remember to the time we know now, the self-knowledge about the self or the self-knowing principle in each one of us have not undergone any change, which shows that that self is eternal in change. Because whatever changes, that is impermanent, and what is changeless is what is called eternal. So here the knowledge and being are not being two separate things. You are not knowing about you, you are being yourself. Because the knower can never know the knower itself. Therefore, the question of knowing yourself as a knower will not happen. You will have to know it as yak sakshat aparokshat brahma. That which is sakshat means absolutely real, or what you call the most clear, unambiguous thing about yourself as who you are. Because there is no impediment, no vyavadanam between yourself and you. Because when you know yourself, there is nothing coming in between the two. Therefore, the knowing becomes 100%, unlike knowing an object. Knowing an object, you don't become the object. You know it as object. Whereas knowing yourself, you are already that. And becoming that is not a new thing. You are only realizing by knowledge that you are that which has been the one which is always knowing in the body as the knower. And that is what is the reason why it is eternal in nature. And the eternity of the self, knowing that, is it not like wanting to reach Swarga, or wanting to have a child, wanting to have rain, wanting to have cows, wanting to have things? Is the question the Mimamsaka is asking. So that is also a kamya karma, like any other karma, is a desire to know yourself. So Shankaracharya very clearly says that here the difference between the desire to know oneself and the desire to know something like Swargaloka, progeny, wealth, or cows, etc., there is a difference between that. Because in all these activities of desires other than knowing yourself, there is a need for activity, action. Whereas knowing yourself, there is no need of action. On the contrary, where all actions, when it stops, you know yourself. The cessation of all activities, which otherwise was driving and taking us all our time, that is what is prohibiting us in knowing ourselves. The cessation of all that, this knowledge shines by itself. And that is the swaprakashata, or the self-effulgence of the knowledge of the self. Because in all other karmas, like right from the Surgaloka to the cows, whatever you desire is driven by an activity, and you will have to work towards it. Whereas here you are not working towards anything to know yourself. When all the ceases, when the word used by Acharya Shankara is that krita krityata, krita krityam. When you feel that there is nothing more to be done, is something similar. You want to reach your house, and after reaching the house, you still keep walking. So if somebody asks you, why are you still keep walking? No, I want to go to my house. Will anybody say like that? No. Having reached the house, you stop walking towards your house. You relax. You become satisfied having reached the house. Something similar, having reached the destination or having understood that activity is not required to reach yourself because you are been always there and you are always that one entity, eternal entity, which was knowing everything under the knowledge of which every activity was going on. So, with this preamble, the methodology adopted by this Upanishad is that the first chapter is on the meditation. Now, the question came, if nothing need to be done, why this meditation or why all this, is being recommended by the Upanishad? So the answer is the brahmacharis in the ashram are familiar to chanting and reciting the Veda mantras, which includes the Upanishad. But they have no knowledge about Atman or Brahman, and the knowledge about Atman and Brahman cannot be passed on directly through words also. In the second chapter, we'll hear the Yato Vacho Nivartante Aprapya Manasa Saha, where the words fail to describe and the mind becomes impotent to know it or conceive it. So the brahmacharis were chanting these mantras and they were not knowing how to derive the meaning or how to know Brahman, which was there, what they were chanting. So the methodology adopted by the Upanishad is by meditating on different aspects of their chanting itself as a methodology of meditation. Now, here you will find that the methodology used in the first Anuvak or from the first four Anuvaks are, Anuvak is the section, the sub-chapter, in the each one is an Anuvak, means each section. So, in that, the meditation methods are given one by one. So, we will go to that meditation. Before that, let us understand the exact meaning of the Shanti mantra, which is required, because if the teacher and the student are not tuned properly, the synchronization of their thoughts, the synchronization of their understanding, if it is not happening properly, the teaching can never be transmitted in 100% efficacy. For that purpose is the first Anuvak where the Shanti mantra has been said. Shamno mitra shamvarunaha, shamno bhavatvaryama, shamna indro brihaspatihi, shamno vishnurukramaha, namo brahmane namaste vayo, tvameva pratyaksham brahmasi, tvameva pratyaksham brahma vadishyami, ritam vadishyami, satyam vadishyami, tanmam avatu, tad vaktaram avatu, avatu mam, avatu vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti. Here, the way in which we have to understand is mitra. Mitraha, naha, sham, varunaha, nam, sham, bhavatu. So, mitra may mitra be propitious to us or be benevolent to us. And also, varuna. Then it says, Aryamaha Naha Sham Bhavatu. May Aryaman be propitious to us. Then Indra Brihaspati Naha Sham. Let Indra and Brihaspati be benevolent to us. Rurukramaha, all-pervasive Vishnu, the all-pervasive Vishnu, Shamnaha, may be benevolent to us, Bhavatu. It is the first one. Mitra is the presiding deity for the day as well as of the prana, both. Varuna is the presiding deity for the night, water and apana. Aryaman is the presiding deity of the sun as well as of the eyes. Indra is the presiding deity of strength of the hands as well as of the lightning and rain. Brihaspati is the presiding deity for speech as well as of intellect. And Vishnu, which is all-pervading, is the presiding deity of legs as well as of the highest heaven. So, the student and the teacher is seeking the blessing of all the above. Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ridam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami. So Brahmane, to that Brahman, Namaha is my adoration. Vayoho Te Namaha. To that Vayu is my adoration or my prostrations. Tvam eva, you are indeed Pratyaksham Brahma. You are indeed the visible form of Brahman for me. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami. Tvam, to thee or to you, only indeed is whom I will call that Pratyaksham Brahma. I'll declare that you are my Pratyaksha Brahma. Ridam Vadishyami. Here the word Ridam is moral duties or dharma. Vadishyami means I will declare and do as per the what is declared as moral duty for me. Satyam Vadishyami, and all through my teachings and my life, I will adhere to the truth. Satyam Vadishyami. Tat Mam Avatu. Tat here is that Brahman which is now being represented through Mitra to all the Devatas whom we have mentioned. Now Brahman is appearing in this form of all these Devatas. And therefore, that Brahman, Tat Mam Avatu, Tat Vaktaram Avatu. So let that Brahman protect, Avatu means protect. Protect me as well as protect to Vaktaram means the teacher. The Vaktaram, one who speaks or one who teaches. So the teacher and myself, let that Brahman be protective about both the teacher and me. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, which we know that the Adi Daivika, Adi Bhaudika and the Adhyatma aspect of the three impediments which can happen. So that has been invoked and seeking the blessings of anyone, any obstruction that can happen in the teaching and transmission of the learning. Now the second Anuvak starts with Om Shiksham Vyakyasyamaha Varnaswaraha Matra Balam Sama Santanaha Ityukta Shikshadhyayaha. Om stands for auspicious word before in starting of any mantra. Om Shiksham Vyakyasyamaha. Siksha here is what is called the phonetics, science of pronunciation or phonetics. In the Upangas of the Vedas, there are 6 Upavedas which is must before the student picks up Veda and its proper meaning. And this is important because without these auxiliary Vedas, the correct learning of Vedas cannot happen. What are the 6 of them? Siksha means science of pronunciation. Chandas is the science of prosody. Is, the meter under which each of those mantras of the Vedas are appearing. Then comes Vyakarana, the science of grammar, the proper grammatical way of constructing the sentences and the words, and how the words are formatted from the verbal roots, etc. So that is the third one, Vyakarana. The fourth one is Nirukta. Nirukta is the science of etymology. This is very important. Nirukta is very important because the exact meaning of Vedic mantras are very, difficult to understand if one hears it directly. Only referring to Nirukta, one can say that in this particular context, in this mantra, the word is for such and such a meaning. Because in Sanskrit or in the Vedas especially, the same word, for example, prana, atma, etc., are used so frequently that we are likely to get confused between what is the exact meaning here, what is the meaning there. Because sometimes prana is being used for Hiranyagarbha, sometimes prana is used for the Mukhya prana, sometimes the same prana is being used for prana, apana, samana, udana, vyana. Same way, atma can be used for the individual, the atma can be used for the self in the being, in the individual being. Then the same atma can be used in place of Brahman. So like that, the Nirukta is etymology is required for the right understanding of things. Then the fifth one is Jyotisha, is the science of astronomy. It is not astrology. Science of astronomy, why it is important is because the Vedic mantras ordain the time and the specifics of constellations placement before doing certain yajnas and yagas. So unless one is familiar with the astronomy, the yaga or yajna cannot be undertaken at the right time. And the Kalpa Shastra or the Kalpa is the science of rituals. As we know, Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa is full of rituals. And these rituals have got very rigid rules. How many bricks have to be used, or how many stones have to be used, what is the shape of the sacrificial fire pit is to be designed, with the facing which direction, what are the tools to be used for, the yaga, what are the, where the sacrificial post has to be kept for the, tying of the sacrificial animal, or where the, where the cooking for the ahuti or the oblation has to be done, what time it has to be done, what vessel has to be used, what are the ingredients to be used. All these things are detailed in the Kalpa. So all these 6 auxiliary works are mandatory for a Vedic student to undertake Vedic chanting. So he is familiar with the word Siksha. So when the mantra says Siksham Vyakyasyamaham, the principles of phonetics shall be explained. You know it is for the purpose of pronunciation, but that very knowledge can be used for meditation. See, this is the beauty of Upanishads. It is not taking something from outside as a prop or a alambana for meditation purpose. Because the student should be able to do the meditation in every walk of his life, every moment of his life. So, which can be a more efficient mode of meditation if he can be taught that the mantras, the way in which you chant the mantras itself can be used as a tool for meditation. So, the way in which it is that the phonetics are being used in the mantras can be used as a method of meditation. Varna swaraha matra bhalam. Varnaha means the letters or alphabets. Swaraha is the accent. Matra is the quantity or the measure. I'll explain each one of them. Balam is the effort or the strength for them. Sama means is the modulation. Santanaha is continuity. Actually speaking, continuity or conjunction. Here, it is when one word is followed by another word, the words merge together at the last alphabet and the first alphabet of the preceding and the subsequent, forming sometimes an elongation, sometimes replacement, sometimes it may undergo a modification, sometimes it may become, void. So these are the many of the methods in which the conjunction takes place in the 2 words when it is being joined. So mantra, when you are chanting, you are not chanting word by word. So, for example, in the Guru, this thing, Akanta Mandalakaram, Vyaptam Yena Characharam. So there, Characharam, Vyaptam, Yena, Characharam. So we could split the words there. Whereas in the next line, Chakshurun Milidam Yena, it is one word, but it is made up of many words in between. So like that, if you look, the word in the mantras has the potency to become independent words, but some places you cannot split it, because if you split it, the meaning goes for a 6. So without splitting, you have to do the whole thing. So when you chant this mantras, Taitareeya mantras, you can really understand that. The chanting is long, that's why I'm not chanting it. Otherwise, Prasad would have helped me to chant that. But I will definitely make you hear one day the chanting of the entire Taitareeya. So here we have to understand that this methodology of using the varna, the swaraha, matra, bhalam, samaha, santanaha, iti shikshadhyayaha. This is the chapter on study of phonetics is being told. Ityukta Sikshadhyayaha. Now that is the way in which it has to be. He is starting with the second Anuvak. The third Anuvak is the explanation which he is using the phonetics for the meditation purpose. Sahanau Yashaha, because he is now again before the meditation there is a small mantra. Sahanau Yashaha, Sahanau Brahmavarchasam, Athathach Sanhitayam Upanishadam Vyakyasyamaha, Panjaswadikaraneshu Atilokamadityaudishamadividyamadiprajamadhyatmam Ta Mahasamhita Ityachakshate Athadilokam Prithvi Purvarupam Dyaurutara Rupam Akashasantihi. So, here, Sahanau Yashaha, Sahanau Brahma Varchasam. These are the two things. So, what is it? Now Saha, to us both, Yashaha, let there be Yashas, or fame to be to both of us, means the teacher and the student. Now Saha Brahma Varchasam. Now, the word Brahma Varchasam means the bright, Varchas means brightness. Brahma Varchasam means the brightness of Brahma be on us both. Now, how can be the brightness of Brahma be on us both? When you are doing the Brahmacharya, you are virtually doing the Achara of Brahma in the forms of Vedic mantras. So when you keep chanting these Vedic mantras, both the teacher and the student, the teacher is teaching, the student is repeating that, in that form, the thing, it becomes a sacred knowledge of spiritual life between them. And there is a holiness of spirituality in the atmosphere, and those who are chanting become radiant with this knowledge, even though they are not the teacher, of course, the student also is chanting it, and therefore there is a sort of mental peace, harmony and radiance in the student also, which is the virtues, what is being talked about here, Brahma Varchasa. Due to this repetition of Brahma, or the Veda itself is Brahma. Ataha Samhitayam. Now, hereafter, Samhitayaha, of the sacred teachings about the conjunctions. Samhita means joining. Samhita is a conjunction of joining alphabets or words. Upanishadam is the sacred teachings of Veda. Upanishad, actually the meaning can be, in one of the earlier classes I have told that sitting next to the teacher and learning the teaching is called Upanishad here. No, it can also mean the Vedanta, is a different meaning for it. But here the meaning it is to be used is to be taken as sitting next to the teacher, sitting, the teacher sits on a pedestal or on a dais, and the students are sitting on the floor below that. So near to the teacher, surrounding the teacher. So that is why it is called Upanishadam. Panchasu Adhikaraneshu, in 5 chapters. Panchasu means 5. Adhikaraneshu means chapters. Vyakyasyamaha, we shall explain. What are that panchas and what are the 5 chapters? Adilokam, with regard to the world. Lokam means world. Adilokam means, Adi means with reference to. Adijaudisham. So, Jyotisham means astronomy or light. With regard to usage of light from the stars and the sun and the moon. Adilogam, Adijyotisham. Adividyam is with regards to the knowledge, Vidya itself. Adiprajam is Praja is progeny. There is with respect to the progeny. Adhyatmam with respect to the individual or the soul or Atma. Ta, that Dirga, Ta means they. Mahasamhitaha iti. They are known as the 5 great conjunctions. Achakshate means they are known or called as the 5 great conjunctions. Atha adilokam, in the following, adilokam with regards to the world, Prithvi purva rupam, Dyav uttara rupam, Akasha santihi. So here you have to understand that in the world, with respect to the world, a conjunction is to be meditated upon, where imagine the first word is represented by the earth. Prithvi Purva Rupam, the first one. Purva Rupam means the first prior one. Dyav Uttara Rupam. Dyav means the heavens. Above the earth, whatever is there, is the Upparam, is the posterior one or the latter one. So the previous one is Prithvi, and followed by Dyav is the heaven, and Akasha Santihi. What is the conjunction between the two? Is the space or the ether. Akasha means the sky. Sky is the union for linking the earth and the heaven, and that is done by the what you call the sky as the co-joining entity. Vayu Sandhanam. Sandhanam means normally it is progeny or continuity. A progeny is the continuity of the parent, the father and mother, and therefore the Sandhanam is called progeny. Here, because the earth and the heaven or the higher worlds is when it is joined together by the sky in between, the air is formed. Vayu Sandhanam. Ityadilokam. This is how you have to meditate upon the adilokam, means the world. The worlds is similar to you have a word in the front, you have a word in the behind or later word. When you join them together, there is a rule which is making them joining together. For example, Maha Ishwaraha. So Maha, the last alphabet is A. Ishwaraha is E. So the Purva Rupam or the front one is Maha. The latter one is Ishwaraha. And what is the Sandhanam? What is the Sandhihi or conjunction? Conjunction is the joining of the ending A of Maha and the first alphabet of Ishwaraha, E. So A plus E is the Sandhihi, is the joining. And when I and E is joined together, you get A. So Maheshwara. So A comes in between, replacing the Akara and Ikara. The A and E is replaced by A, and Maha plus Ishwara becomes Maheshwara. So A is the Sandhanam. Same way, Prithvi and Dyav are the previous and the latter words. Akasha is the Sandhi. is the one which is joining them together, and the product, Sandanam, out of them is Vayu. This is the Adilokam. Adadi Jaudisham. Now, in the case of the lights, Agni Purva Rupam, Aditya Uttara Rupam. So the front one is Agni, the fire is the front one, Aditya is the Uttara Rupam, is the latter one. Apasantihi, the heavenly waters, is the rule through which they are connected. Vaidyuta Sandanam, the lightning is the progeny or the output of this conjoining. So, Aditya Uttara Rupam, Agni Purva Rupam. When they are being joined together using water as the conjunction, electricity or the lightning is the Sandanam. Idi Jaudisham. Adhadi Vidyam. Now, about Vidya, about the education or the knowledge. Acharya Purva Rupam, Andevasi Uttara Rupam. So, the teacher is the first first word. The following word is Andevasi. Vidya Santihi, the teaching. Here the word Vidya means teaching. The teaching is the conjunction. And Pravachanam Sandanam. Pravachanam means the what you call the teaching by speaking. The teacher is conveying the subject of teaching by talking about it. So Pravachanam is the verbal teaching of the Pravachanam. Idi Sandanam. That is the product out of that. Ityadi Vidyam. Adividyam. Adadi Atha Adiprajam. Adiprajam is now the prajani part of it. Mata Purva Rupam. The mother is the first one. Pita Uttara Rupam is the latter one. Pita, the means father is the latter one. Praja Santihi. The conjunction is the praja, is the child. Prajananam Sandanam. The progeny which in this fashion is proceeding downward, their child, his child, his child, that prajananam is the product of the Sandanam. So, father, mother, the child, and that child becomes a continuity for the next generation. So, their prajananam becomes the Sandanam. Idi Adiprajam. Adadhyatmam. Now about the self. Adara Hanu Purva Rupam. Hanu means jaw. Adara Hanu means lower jaw. Uttara Hanu means the upper jaw. Vak Sandhihi. The words are the conjunction. Jihva Sandanam. The tongue is the output. So, when the lower jaw and the upper jaw, when joined, put together through the word as a conjunction, the tongue is the one which is getting activated, is the Sandanam. Ityadhyatmam. So, all the five, that is, we saw that Adilokam, Adijaudisham, Adividyam, Adiprajam, Adhyatma. All the five. Ityadhyatmam, Iti Ma Mahasamhita. This is all known as Mahasamhita. These five together, put together, all the five put together is Mahasamhita, means the great conjunctions which can be used for meditation. Ya eva eta Mahasamhita Vyachakshate Vyakhyada Veda Ya Eva Veda Mahasamhita Vyakhyada Veda Sandiyate Prajaya Pashubi Brahmavarchasena Dhyena Suvargena Lokena. One who meditates upon this in the 5 Mahasamhitas, he is given with Sandiyate, he is blessed with Prajaya, means his progeny, Pashubi, by cattle, that is the wealth those days, Brahmavarchasena, by the radiance of Brahmavarchas in those who are meditating, and Suvargena Lokena, they are also blessed with the Swarga Loka as the Phalaprapti. So this is the Mahasamhita which is being taught, spoken in the method of meditation in the first set of meditation in the chapter 1. I will stop here and continue in the first chapter in the coming month, in the coming Wednesday. Om Sham No Mitra Sham Varunaha Sham No Bhavatvaryama Sham Na Indro Brihaspatihi Sham No Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyavada.
Thank you so much, Bindaji. Really beautiful class. For everyone to know, in just a moment, we'll open the hand raising and turn on the chat. And we hope you'll come up and discuss anything that's on your mind with Bindaji regarding the class today. And remember that we'll have a general Q&A on Sundays. I just wanted to thank you for a couple things that I really appreciated in the class today, Bindaji. One was when you were talking about the difference between looking outward for the answers and what we can actually gain by turning inwards. And the way you spoke about that was a little different, and I really appreciated it. And also there's always this ongoing discussion in clubhouse rooms about what's meant by things being eternal or free of time. And again, I felt like the way you talked about that today kind of brings it out of a kind of a strange and magical idea into something that should be accessible to all of us. So, Hari Om, and thank you so much for that. Before we turn the room over to everybody and Bindo, Prakash, did you want to comment on today's class at all? And I'll go ahead and open hand raising and so forth.
Yeah, pranams. Thank you, Artemisia, Bindoji. Today's class was very immersive in terms of how one uses the skill of mantras or chanting or slokas, how one enunciates that, and how it is a very in-depth view. So I have to slowly digest it. But I was wondering, is there along with the Upanishad, the learning with the teacher, is there guidance where when the student is away from the teacher, Bindoji?
Well, in the traditional teaching it is not possible, because 12 years the child dedicates day in and out to be around the teacher, not only learning the Vedas, but also helping the teacher in his rituals, thereby getting exposure to the rituals. And that way it becomes easier for the teacher to refer to that when he is teaching also, because he is the teacher and the student have done something together in the yajna or the yagashala together. So the methodology of teaching the Vedas are, you have to dedicate yourself for 12 years in a Gurukula with the teacher, day in and day out. There is no other way.
Thank you, Binduji.
Looks like nobody has any questions. So, Namaste,
Hari Om
Bhagavan.
Viduji.
Hari
Hari Om
Om.
Viduji. We just continue to contemplate on what has been taught. Um, this is Shiksha Valli is a complete new exposure, Binduji. That's why it is going to take some time to our tubelates to come on. That is my tubelate. So this 5 heads, 5 samhitas to be contemplated upon. The combination given, the words and the light, and it comes to the Atman, the the progeny, the human. I think the 5 combination, 5 samhitas. Any specific distinction why these 5 are chosen? There can be many. Why only these 5? Some insight, Binduji, to contemplate. I know we're going to chant and go through this, but why only these 5?
I cannot say why this 5, because that is how the Vedas have prioritized. So there must be a reason why this 5 have been chosen as the modes of meditation. For example, Varna Swaraha, Matra Balam, all those things. In the Varna, if you may not be, the people who are not familiar with the Sanskrit, I can tell that every consonant without an alphabet cannot be spoken, because in English a vowel can be added and kept in between, but the pronunciation comes with the vowel. But in Sanskrit, the vowels are taken separate, the consonants are taken separate, and then when you are doing a chanting and all, the vowels have got, some of the vowels have got 18 variations. Now these 18 variation, the vowel in English doesn't go through any variation, as A is A only. But if you look at it, that usage in English also, the difference between PUT put and BUT but, the same alphabets, but only the consonant, that one which has in the beginning has gone through from Peter to butterfly. So that has changed from P to B, and you get put and but. But in Sanskrit, there cannot be such anomalies. That has a place, and that has to be uttered in that way only. So the word A has got Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita, and the normal pronunciation. So these three, Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita, how it is differentiated, it is not, only a person who is familiar with the chanting can differentiate it. Not only that, there is Hriswa Dirgha Pluta, means Hriswa means short, Dirgha means 2 measures, Pluta means more than 3, is how it is being uttered. For example, ah, there's 3 that. So if you look at that, then there is nasal and non-nasal, nasika and ananunasika, nasika, ananunasika. The so you can make out slight difference between the nasal and the non-nasal . So you have 2 nasal and non-nasal. You have Hriswa Dirgha Pluta 3, and then you have got Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita 3. So you have got 8 combination of this put together, 18 places from where you can utter the same word a. Then you have got a, e, u, r, e, I, au, a. All those things are there. So in the Maheshwara Sutra, it is how the Vyakarana is being taught. So if you look at that way, one who studies this, he will, when he is uttering a Sanskrit word, it will be perfect and absolutely clear to the person who is hearing. He knows exactly. Now, when it is being joined by one word followed by another word, there are rules which way you have to utter the conjunction. But the words being the same, if you utter it in a different form, the meaning of the conjunction changes. For example, Indra Shatru. Indrasya Shatru is one word. Means the enemy of Indra is one meaning it is. The same Indra Shatru. When it is said, it becomes Bahuvri. In Shatru, Indra for whom he is a Shatru becomes that. It is not Indrasya Shatru. So the meaning changes just by whether you are doing it by in one way of pronouncing it or the other way of pronouncing it. The meaning changes. A typical example is that one Rishi want to kill Indra because Indra killed his son. So he is doing a yaga to get one more son, and he wanted that son to kill Indra. So Indra, knowing very well that that sage has got such power, he goes and tells Saraswati to sit in the tongue of the Ritvik who is chanting the mantra, so that the meaning of the chanting changes, and instead of becoming Indra's enemy, it becomes Indra whose enemy. So that son becomes the enemy, will be killed by the Indra. So that is the story in the way in which it is being explained. So you can see that this Siksha is the same way the student will be remembering about the 5 Mahayutis, or what you call that is Maha Sanhita. Atilokam, Adijaudisham, Adividya, Adiprajam, and Adhyatma. All the 5 places. Why this conjunction? See, for example, when it is a Prithivi Uttara Rupam, the Prithivi Purva Rupam, Dhyau Uttara Rupam, Akasha Santihi, Vaidyuda Santanam. So, no, Vayu Santanam, like that, when you are taking that, the one who is chanting should also remember that Sandhi should be in such a way that it should not be an enemy to one of the Purva Rupam, Uttara Rupam, and like that, the way in which it should be chanted is that it should have a harmony between the words. That will be kept in the mind by the one who chants. So that is why these 5 are taken where there is a harmony between them. The father, the mother and the son and the progenies. There is a harmony in the family. So that is how it is being kept. So same is the case for the other examples also. That may be the reason why these 5 are taken as the examples for the Maha Sanghita.
Binduji, I think you gave a good opening here. So don't call me because I'm just showing. I'm thinking. This is my interpretation coming to this after listening to you. The 5 samhitas are it has to be interpreted inward, not gross form. Say the first samhita is heaven and earth and how it is connected. The inner world, the world within. The heaven and earth is within. The gross body is within. Subtle is within, and the beyond is within. For which connected by prana. That both the earth and the heaven and earth is connected by the air. It is within. That samhita is already recognized. For Siksha Valli, I think it is looking at this 5 samhitas available within. Hence, the next level teaching can follow. So is the heavenly light, the sun, and it is talking about the heavenly light, right? The first form and the second form. Water is connecting between Agni and it is Agni Purva Rupam, Aditya Uttara Rupam. It is talking about Agni and Aditya within. The sun is the Atma Jyoti. And what we talk about Agni is within. This is the Agni within, connected by that light. I'm just going. Each samhita is available within the 5.
Yeah. You have to go through them, each one of them, and then try how you can meditate upon them. That will be a better way of doing it.
Correct, Binduji. I think this is how I'm digesting it. Hope I'm in the right direction.
Yes.
Okay, that's it, Binduji.
Thank you. Namaste, Ganesh.
Namaste, Binduji. Last year when I met a professor who taught English for special training purposes, he was telling that even in English there are around 44 or 54, I believe, vowel variations. Only 5 are taken into consideration. Otherwise, there are 27 or 40. I'm not sure of the variation. I mean, this one, he was showing that for etymological purposes, it could be used, but we don't teach it everywhere. Not even in academics it will be taught. That's what he was telling. Just I felt like sharing that, and that's it, Binduji.
Okay.
And
must be there.
And one more thing, it is my curiosity. Since there is so much of emphasis on the chandas, meter, and the pronunciational aspects of the mantra and other things, even without knowing the meaning, the perfect chanting, could it raise the consciousness to the level of Brahman? Is there a possibility of that kind?
See,
because all intellects might not be sharp enough to what you called the dhira aspect of realizing Brahman. Is this technique had been strategized to make it available for everybody for salvation or for emancipation or whatever? Is there any such idea in it? That's what.
No, the chanting of the mantras will definitely help you to focus on the, what you call, on your attention span. It will help you to increase your attention span and rather make you more aware of how you are doing it. Because if you are not attentive, you can make a mistake. It is not, normally while singing, the raga may be one which will be, your concentration will be there. Only the songs which you know the meaning and everything, you will be able to have both the raga and the meaning going together. But imagine a film composer, song composer, who makes a new song with a particular raga in mind. The singer, while singing, may not give importance to the meaning of the words. He will be following the instruction of the music director or the tune. Later, when he is asked to do the repetition and he learns everything, then he brings the bhava into the song. That is the time when the song becomes a touching song when you listen to it. Otherwise, most of the songs which doesn't have a bhava in it is just cacophony, I would say that. It's just some sounds, that's all.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Yeah, same way, the chanting also, you will be doing the chanting, but when you know the meaning becomes, the chanting becomes more effective, and your mental, what you call, synchronization and harmony with the meaning will take you to a much higher level than just chanting it.
Okay. Yes, certainly true. Thank you, Binduji.
Thank you, Ganesh.
Thank you very much.
I think that's all, Artemisia.
Yep, I closed the hand raising. Thank you everyone for being here. Binduji, am I correct that we're going to have a Q&A here on Sunday?
Yes, Sunday we'll have a Q&A. General Q&A on
Great.
Advaita. And next Wednesday, we'll continue with the Taitareeya.
Yeah, perfect. So everyone bring your general discussion and questions on Advaita to the Sunday. It'll also be at 8:30 p.m. IST. And again, thank you everyone for being here. I invite you to study the document that's up above. And again, most thanks to you, Binduji, and Venkat and Ganesh. Thank you for coming up. And thank you for your question, Prakash. Maybe on Sunday we can follow up. Binduji, as you said, well, you need to be with the teacher for 12 years, but over the millennia, what be with has changed in terms of how we can be with someone. So maybe on Sunday. Again, thank you, everyone. Hari Om. We'll see you Sunday.
Thank you and Hari Om. Namaste to all of you. Hari Om. Good night.